check it.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome to Great Direct Studios, where we do and talk about all things creative. I am your host, Great Gray, your awkward yet talented Chingu, and today is an amazing day because this is going to be our very first podcast on this channel. We are going to target. What are we targeting it?
Great podcast.
Great podcast.
Everything amazing, everything creative.
All things creative.
The talks you really want to hear.
Yes, the talks you really want to hear. So on here, we'll be talking about a lot of creative stuff. We'll be talking about a lot of, challenges, social, economic, political, science, technology related conversations, interesting conversations, that will get your mind going. Ooh, that's right. So, right. So, yeah. So with me here, introduce yourself, please.
Hey YouTube, hey podcast people. My name is Aruna Fizabayomi. Yeah, that's all.
That's it. So without delaying or without taking much of our time, we'd like to just briefly talk about the art of persuasion and woke technology. But the main thing is we want to talk about woke technology. What is woke? What is technology? What is woke technology? And if we have time, we'll go into the art of persuasion. As creatives, we want to talk about how you're able to use persuasion. When does persuasion borderline manipulation? We just want to know, certain aspects of our lives and how it transcends. So moving from that, we'll start with the first topic, which is the woke technology. So, like, woke technology, what does that even mean?
Oh well, it's a term that was coined by our director. Yes, so
Me?
she would have to
I
explain
don't
what's
think I
woke
coined
technology.
woke technology.
Oh, really?
I don't think it just came to my mind. But
Oh.
I think if we checked online, we probably might find.
The Joe Rogan star. Check that up.
Yeah,
Look up
check.
that.
If we check it online, we'll probably see a lot of using woke technology.
All right. Well, woke means to be awake. So anything that makes you awake in form of technology is woke technology.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but in my view, there are actually two sides to being woke in today's world. Whether you're on the right or on the left. In this country, we say whether you're a traditional person or you're the modern person. So if you're the traditional person, being woke is a different meaning to you. While if you're the modern kind of person in today's world, Yorubas will say "Omodesin," people of today,
people of today, children of today.
nowadays, like our elders used to say. They say children of nowadays. Aha, our own meaning of woke is very, very different. But looking at the etymology, like trying to see the history or how did it even come into terms and all of that. I think we should actually start there. Do you have something for us?
How woke came into.
Yes.
See, I can't say okay, it came in this year or it came in this month or it came in today or this particular hour or second, but I think it's just like part of the evolution of things. As the world keep moving, technologies keep coming out, people keep modifying their taste to suit the world, people keep trying better ways to adapt. So I think in my own context, when I first heard woke, when I heard people using woke, what I think woke actually meant then was, K or Jazzy in Yoruba. It also means like you should be smart, street wise, and you should, yeah, and you should be able to navigate your way through things without actually being manipulative, but then being smart and intelligent, using your intellect the way it should be used, that kind of thing. So, in my opinion, that was what woke was. But nowadays, woke is something even broader. Woke is kind of like very weirdly used now. Like labels and how would I say it? And the words, the way they are being used, even when they came out and the way they are being used now, it's kind of different. Woke now means to be disrespectful. Woke means to be very outspoken, to be very aggressive, to be very weird, to be very, there are a lot of things people would do now and you're just like, oh, I'm woke. And I'm like, that's not what I think woke meant, but
all right.
Right?
Well, that's why I said there are two sides. So if you're the traditional kind of person, you'd be like, this is what woke means to me. if you're the modern kind of person, this is what works to me. Yeah, so just like Gregory put it, like woke is more like, okay, you are aware, you're
Yeah,
socially
being
aware of
aware.
stuffs, whether in the politics era or in the culture era, you're aware of those stuffs. Like you're someone who wants to be like progressive, you want change, you want this, you don't want any form of cheating and all of that. You want to be always smart, street level smart, like she said.
Yeah, street smart.
So, but now woke, as she said again, has really, really, really changed. Man, like woke is almost everything. Even
Yeah.
if a goat decides to drink Pepsi now,
Oh,
the
that
goat is
that
woke
goat is
now.
woke.
Like goat
Yeah,
is woke
you
now.
get
You
it. People
understand?
just use woke, the
Mm-hmm.
term woke for something I don't even. It can be used for anything.
Anything now.
Yes, for anything now, which is very weird. And rightfully so, some people try to desist from using the word woke because they feel like
Exactly.
woke has already transcended boundaries. It does not represent what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would use woke and be like, oh, I'm woke. And they are drinking, they are smoking, they're having
Exactly.
a very terrible lifestyle in terms of like using drugs, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm woke, I'm
I'm woke
staying
now.
woke.
Like
And some people are like, I'm woke, but not that kind of woke. I don't do those kind of stuff, so I'm not woke in that regard. And some people will just be like tech savvy, they can code. I'm like, oh, that guy is woke. And I'm like, I don't know about technology that well, so I don't think that's the kind of woke I am. So woke is just, what does woke even mean?
oh well, man. Like we first said, I think it just means to be awake. So whichever way you feel you want to be awake.
Yeah.
Yes, some few days ago we're discussing about words that has really changed in meaning. Yeah, this thing used to mean
Yeah.
like week, okay, now, but now, well, it has been included into the dictionary in
Yeah.
2017. So woke now means people that are socially
Aware,
aware,
socially aware.
politically aware, culturally aware, and all of that. But then, in our own view, talking about the kind of work that people means, yes. So all of those observations are really right. But then the striking part about being woke today now is the one that is common to a lot of us. So we always feel like once you trample on my use of words or you don't want to align with my worldview, you're not woke.
Hmm.
So that is where the major fight is now. So if I believe in something and you don't get to believe in it, then
So
you're
you're
not
not
woke. I am
woke.
the one that is woke.
You.
So if I believe that early in the morning, I heard people should not take coffee. They should just, take one big wrap of amala or eba or anything. So that is my own definition. But if you talk about that, whether online or physical, you're not woke. And the people that tends to be woke in today's world are very, very sensitive to the use of words, which I think is a major important part about
Hmm.
being woke in today. So a little bit of history can be like, okay, then there were lots of racism, gender discrimination, and all of that. So the black people, yes, which is what a lot of articles will support as the origination of that word. So they were using it to just wake up their people. So the
No,
word
for
woke,
real.
you understand, like
For real.
wake them up, like guys,
Like
this thing is happening.
there's
Yes,
facts
yes.
supporting that that's the origination.
Yes. There are lots of like articles and theories and like stuffs like that that even agrees that, oh yes, that's where the word work
Wait,
at.
please come again.
Even in
Woke
music.
came from woke. The term woke came from the area of where
People,
racism was
yes,
prevalent, and
yes.
then they were
Yeah.
telling people to like
Stay woke.
stay woke.
That's just
Don't
what they were
don't let
using.
them oppress you.
Yeah, just like you said, Jare, you
Yeah,
understand, be smart.
don't let them oppress you. Stand up, be
Exactly.
alert,
Stand up.
be
Exactly.
yeah, be aware.
Exactly. So we
Yeah,
could actually say yes, that's fine. Be aware.
be
You shouldn't
aware.
like sit though. So that
So
was then.
woke is be aware.
Exactly. Just be aware. But walking
Don't be yeah.
today,
Work today,
almost
yeah, work today has transcended like a lot of boundaries.
a
People are
lot,
using, in fact.
a
So
lot.
the work we will be referring to here, what our work in terms of work technology would be technology that makes you aware, or technology that makes you, that subjects you to probably social prejudice, right?
Exactly.
Or technology that that subjects you to social judgment.
Mm.
that's woke we'll be talking about here. We talk about the two types of woke. The woke that makes you like the technology woke that makes you aware, that
Mm-hmm.
makes you smart, that makes you, understand that, oh, this person is manipulative,
Mm-hmm.
that just brings you to the clear. And there's also the second woke, which subjects you to social discrimination, social judgment, social everything,
Injustice,
injustice, or
everything,
just make,
profiling.
yeah,
Mm.
social profiling,
Hmm.
social profiling.
Yeah, it's
So those
true.
are the two kind of technology we're talking about. Thanks
Hmm.
for explaining what woke is.
So, are you woke now?
I don't even
Do
know.
you consider yourself a woke person?
I think I'm woke in terms of like I'm aware, but I'm not woke enough because I think I need to learn some things, learn some more. So there's always room for development
All right, all
or room
right.
for growth.
Well, for some people, they are not woke physically, but digitally they are woke.
What is
So,
physical wokeness? Come on,
so there are those kind of people that are like physically aware. So on the streets,
they're very
physically,
alert.
they
You
are
can't
last
attack
like
them.
that. But on the digital, in the digital space, they are loose.
Lose in
They are
terms of,
loose. They are like they are the kind of woke of the modern woke
oh,
right
the
now.
modern woke,
Yeah,
the
so
woke.
whatever I agree to online, that is my worldview. But in the physical world, they are not like that. So we have some people like that. Yeah, but we have some that, whether home or away, they are repping the woke to the core. You understand? So they are always like digital and physical version of everybody.
Mm.
So that comes to my question. In the digital space, would you consider yourself to be a woke person?
I don't think so. In the digital space, I don't think I'm a woke person. I think I like to explore. I like to explore stuff online. To check a lot of apps to see what it means, what it does. But then I feel like I'm not woke in the sense that I just like don't see the use for many of those apps, for many of those online communities and many of those online forums. It's just like, just seeing, okay, what does this mean, what does it stands for? And at the end
Mm,
of the day, you just realize that, nah, I don't roll that way. So I think in terms of that aspect, being digitally woke, I don't think I am digitally woke. But in terms of physically woke, I think I am more, I am someone who is, I reflect what I consume a lot in terms
mm,
of mentally, physically, emotionally. So
interesting.
it kind of projects on me. So I'm very selective of what I consume, especially when it comes online. You see a lot of things online. Online is just like a big pot of stuff. So you just have to go there, or like a marketplace. You just have
Yeah,
to go there and purchase what you want. You go there
exactly.
to select what you want. So you don't have to just eat everything or just buy everything you see at the
Exactly.
marketplace. So for me, I'm very selective when it comes to what I consume online. So if that is not being woke, I'm sorry, I'm not woke
You know what?
digitally. No,
Okay, so you're asleep right
I'm
now.
asleep digitally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
What
so,
What about you though?
oh, okay.
Are you
Wow.
woke digitally? Like, do you use these apps a lot, and do you just like expose yourself out there a lot?
Well, in the digital space, for me, I'm majorly about observing things.
Mm.
So I use the digital space to learn a lot. I use this space to learn how to behave. I use it to learn how not to be what I'm actually saying. So before I used to be like okay, I don't want to go to such space because it's toxic and all of that.
What space?
Let's say for example the one everyone knows, you say something like Twitter now. So talking about
It's
social
now X.
network, it's now X now. Oh
Yes.
my god, it's just like Nepal. Nepal is still Nepal. So X now, talking about X or Twitter now. So you talk about the fact that before I was not really like, not dealing with the pressure of, okay, I want to join. I think when I checked, I think I joined 2014. Whatever made me join
Mine
there
was
back then.
2011.
Whatever made me join back there, I don't even know. I didn't start using it actively until the last 2 years
Likewise.
or the last 3 years. So because trying to like say, okay, what I do here about this thing is that once you go there, you become like them. But then I want to see the way they think, and I want to see the way people respond to them, and I want to hear the whole backlash. So I want to see the way people see their thoughts and their thinking on that space. So that I would actually learn how to react, how to behave in the digital space too as well. So the use of social network as a form of like woke technology. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we have actually come back to our question now, talking about the woke technology itself and the types of woke technology that we have. So it's not like we have types, but we have some technology that can be used to be woke, but we have some that could not be used in such instance. Do you understand?
What kind of technology can't be used to be woke?
Oh, well, you talk about technology that may not really be heavy on the human capital or the social capital. So
Like examples like
any technology that does not really like conform to or it's not really about the use of people, like your financial technology apps, your bank apps. You can't say you want to be woke about it. Do you have enough money or something? It's all about the amount of money that you have in it. So
okay.
talking about the health sector too as well. In your health sector now, like um, are you using it for to save lives or other things? But the major and the heavy one that I can consider as being woke can be that one that talks about the social media space where a lot of people are. So anyone that is like a social network kind of like technology, that's where we actually want to focus on. So anything that doesn't really have much humans or their interactions and any other thing like that is really not woke in my own
In
instance.
your own
Yes,
perspective.
so as long as it doesn't reflect, okay. So for someone, while I was doing some research, they were like, my own being woke is that people should not be convicted of crimes.
What?
Yeah, like for some, being woke is like don't be convicted of crimes.
In what? I don't get
So
it.
like when people commit a sin now or they steal stuffs, like don't convict them, and that is
Don't
why.
convict them for what?
Yes, don't convict them. Like, don't take them to jail. Don't take them to prison.
Then where
They
should
don't
we
believe
take
in
them?
prison. Just leave them
Leave
alone.
them so they should.
So weird. We are not in that society now. We are in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
But then overseas in America, well, people can fact check this. There are some certain cities where, by law, a particular amount of stuff being stolen or being shoplifted is not really a crime.
I think I saw something like that online where some guys just went into this store, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll check the video probably while I upload this. I'll just insert the video so you can see. They just went to the store and were just taking bags and were taking stuff, and store owners were just like looking at them because it is not a crime.
Yeah, it's been happening over and over, Julie. Thieves thinking they can steal things with impunity, thinking they will never get caught. That's an issue that brought a candidate for governor to San Francisco today. It's happened again. 4 women run off after stealing from the CVS pharmacy at Van Ness and Jackson in San Francisco, this time just before 6 Monday night. It's the latest grab-and-go crime in San Francisco that's forced many drugstores in the city to close. The man who took this video tells me he feels sorry for the workers who have lost their jobs or have had their hours reduced because of what he called out-of-control shoplifting. Organized retail theft has become such a hot-button issue that it's now a point of focus in the upcoming gubernatorial recall election. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer spoke outside the shuttered Walgreens at Larkin and Bush in San Francisco, blasting the governor.
A governor who has supported the lessening of laws when it comes to stealing items under $950, lowering those consequences.
At a news conference last week, Newsom said he signed a new law that maintains task forces across the state that crack down on retail theft. San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott supports the legislation.
When they see these things go viral, the perception of lawlessness, the perception that anything goes, really, that has to be overcome too.
Now, three of the top cities for organized retail theft in the United States are in California. LA's number 1, San Francisco's number 5, and Sacramento is number 10. Reporting live at SFPD headquarters, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Henry, thank you.
Well, there's the yes. So for them, they are like a particular amount.
Is that being woke?
Well, to
Or
them that's
being
been woke. So that's being woke for them. That's like okay, we want to trend and all of that. Or yes, they've made the law. You should pass it. Yeah,
But
exactly.
what is the essence of making that kind of law? Because it's just like you're enabling people to take what does not belong to them. Imagine somebody working so hard to build that, or to be able to, gather that kind of stuff, that kind of product. And some people just waltz in there and just take it and feel like, okay, it's not a crime, so I can just take it. I don't know how it works. I think I'm going to research more on that. I don't know how it works because it's very weird. If that is their own ideal wokeness, then it's terrible, very terrible.
Very.
So,
So, well,
coming back to woke technology, okay, here is woke the opposite of traditional.
oh,
Being traditional, can you be traditional and woke at the same time, or can you be traditional and woke at the same time, or is it like word and opposites?
oh, well, would say being woke is being traditional, while the traditional people will actually actually eat and live on people that are woke. So for me, in my own opinion, I believe that if you're woke, you're not really traditional. You're not really traditional because there are certain factors that makes us
Certain
human.
values.
Certain values, yes. Thank you for that. There are certain values that actually make us who we are as a society. So anything out of the ordinary may be considered wokeness. So that's my own. So what do you think?
Me, I think people who are traditional can be woke.
Okay.
Because before we started, why we started is we said there are two types of woke. There's the one that makes you aware, just aware, very
Yeah.
smart and intelligent, and there's the one that makes you subjective to social prejudice, the one that makes you want to conform to be socially in, I don't know the word. Can you borrow me a word?
So the social injustice, all of
Like,
that.
yeah, you just make yourself so socially acceptable.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the first kind of woke, where it makes you aware, it makes you intelligent. I think being traditional doesn't mean you can't be that. Being traditional doesn't mean you don't have to be, you don't have to be like progressive, or you don't have to, how would I say it? Being traditional doesn't make you backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make you so like to neglect the things around you, or to just be strict, like, okay, it's either do or die. I think in that sense of being aware, being traditional actually teaches you to seek for knowledge, to be able to equip yourself. I think it's very inherent for humans to want to adapt, to want to adapt to their surroundings, to their society, to things that are happening around them. And it is inherent for humans to want to to live, to survive.
Exactly.
So for you to survive, you have to adapt, and adaptation comes in different forms, right? The adaptation I'm talking about in this sense is like for you to be able to equip yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. Physically in terms of working out. You can't say because I'm traditional, I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be indoors, I'm not supposed to do this, I'm not supposed to do that. You understand? You can actually work out even while you're indoors. You can actually work out even as a wife. You can actually work out as a mother. You can stay fit for to live long, to actually be with your children. In terms of mental, you have to be very steadfast in your beliefs, in your values, in your principles, your core principles, so you don't just take jargon. You have to deal with your emotion. So I feel like in that sense you can be aware and also be able to instill your traditional
Still be
values.
traditional.
But in terms of subjecting yourself to social, I think the thing tradition guide us against, like people that call themselves probably traditional, what they guide themselves against, like they just protect their values, they protect their principles, so they do not literally care if you want to walk on your hands, if you want to walk on your head. They know what they stand for and they abide by that, but doesn't make them less aware of what is going on around them. So I think in that sphere you can be traditional and woke.
Yeah, that's an interesting explanation. Yeah. Yeah, I do agree that in that sphere you can be traditional yet woke. So but then is it really the opposite?
So it doesn't make it the opposite of, but modern days, do you think like people who are traditional want to just repel anything that is woke because of it does not align with their values?
Well, there's a lot happening in that space. So when you look at the almighty X platform again, or the Twitter platform again, yes, the traditional people and the woke people are always having a fight on that platform.
I don't think traditional is the opposite of woke, but I think being conservative is the opposite of being woke.
Okay. So now conservative and then liberal, right? So that's in their own society. But if you bring it down to where we are now as Nigerians, we will understand it more as someone who is traditional, someone who is modern. So in that sphere now, if you look at the social media spaces, it's always a fight between those two. People that are conservative, people that are liberal, like, okay, free choice, free speech, all of that. Say whatever you want, do however you want. While people on the other side are like, oh, certain values we should not cross the line on some certain values and all of that. So yes, we can say they are opposites, while in some other spaces you can be both, while in some other spaces you can be a little bit of this and a higher percentage of that. So there's some people that are really traditional, while in a bit they're kind of like woke. You understand? In a bit, yes.
When you talk about wokeness here in Nigeria, I think it's more about like how much you can have a social lifestyle, your social circle. Is it something considered cool? Probably partying, probably
Yeah.
and in terms of the intelligent aspects, people just see it as streetwise. Don't be
Oh.
don't be sluggish on the street.
So well, it's woke, the opposite of traditional.
I don't think woke is the opposite of traditional. Guys, what do you think? Do you think woke is the opposite of traditional?
Oh,
To
well.
stay woke means to be aware. It also means to be socially acceptable, socially accepted. So do you think woke and traditional are two opposites? Woke is on the left and traditional is on the right.
Exactly.
Do you think that is it?
And it's actually on the left, and traditional is on the right when you talk about politics.
Oh.
So yes, so the right
do you,
guys.
do you think? Do you
people on the
think?
right are
Do
always
you
like
think?
traditional?
So I think that's. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're
Interesting.
just going to leave that conversation at that.
Hmm.
So let's go on. Let's stop first.
Check it.
Okay, let me see. Okay, the crack is shaking. We're good. We're good. So I want to ask, what technology do you think has ruined lives more than it has saved? Some people will say, okay, what technology? Before I give my opinion.
All right. So talking about the technology, you talk about the fact that the internet even exists in the first place.
The internet.
Yes.
Do you think the internet
even
has
exists.
ruined lives that it has saved?
Well, some people will actually believe. It's just that we don't
I'm
have.
thinking about
we
what
don't have
you
data.
believe, not what. It's just me and you in the entire world right now.
Okay,
What do you
well,
believe?
Me, talking about me, I really don't think. Okay, I'll tend to go to the military side. Tend to go to atomic bomb.
Atomic bomb.
That's the only thing I can think of right now. I'll tend to think about the kind of weapons we have now. So you're talking about guns and all of that. So
It has ruined lives.
necessary evil, or should we call it unnecessary? I don't know. But then those two things are at the top of my list when you talk about things that shouldn't have actually be, around now. So that's in my own case.
So the weapons in general, right?
Yeah, weapons in general.
Weapons in general, like guns and grenades and bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
Those kind of weapons. So
there are certain inventions that shouldn't have happened right now.
like
So on a low scale, things that have been made. Students will say, "Why do we have tests? Why do we have exam? Like who invented?"
you're still on
all of
tests
that.
and exams. Like,
So people are like tests and exams.
do you
like,
think it
why?
has ruined lives?
Oh well. It's continuing to ruin life if not used appropriately. So won't
How?
say ruined greatly. So I think is a kind of like I don't know if to call it a technology, but it's something we invented that actually like kind of like limit us.
Limits. You think
Yes.
tests and
Yes,
exams
yes.
limits people? How
Yes,
so?
a lot. So you talk about the fact that okay, you teach someone a certain concept, and at the end of probably say 3 months, yeah, you want to test them on it. Yes, fine. You want to like get them to you want to test if they actually know it. Yes, fine. But then the kind of exam that we have, I won't say there is a kind of exam because that's even the kind of exam that was even invented. So in today's world, that kind of
Nigeria.
exam,
Let's
yes,
use
in
Nigeria.
Nigerian context now. So we'd say that there is this sense that we've built that exam is a test of knowledge. So if you don't do well in a certain exam, I don't think you know that subject at all. Whereas if you look deeply, you get to think about I might know the application, but I might not be able to regurgitate it on paper exactly as you want it in order for me to score that perfect 100 over 100. Yes, not all topics can be applied. Not all knowledge can be applied. Like you can see it's live and direct. But then I might be able to explain it in a very different way, but not in the way you want. And I will get to be graded based on that. So, yes, a lot of educators in the world and educational psychologists are calling for a reform around that word exam. So, you get to think of the fact that, and even in Finland, there is no test, there is no exam until probably you're in the university. And the kind of exam and test is not the kind that we have. When you talk about Nigerian, we all know what our exam is. We have exam, everybody's rushing. I want to download this book, I want to cram this book, I want to like know this and all of that. It's actually a very, very very sensitive mechanism for testing people's knowledge. And I think, in my own opinion and conclusion, it has ruined our ability to create, our ability to invent, and our ability to actually apply the knowledge we got while in class in a more usable way.
Okay, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I think tests and exams are actually not bad.
All
I don't
right.
think they've ruined people.
Okay.
But I'll say the ways in which they are being conducted and the ways they are being assessed is what actually ruins people. And I'm going to say this. For example, you don't expect me to let a doctor operate on me who has not been tested to be sure that he's actually a professional.
Tested in what way?
Tested in terms of his application, what he has done.
What would we call that exam?
That's what I'm saying. The way in the ways they have actually been, been assessed, those kind of ways. That's the ways I would not say, okay, I feel like they've ruined lives. But tests and exams, it's in itself, I think it is very, very important. And the reason why I think tests and exams are important is because of, like, number one, I'll say this, to test for your abilities and your capabilities, to know what you don't have yet, to know what you've not, what the skills you don't have yet, the level of your skillship. For example, if someone has very steady hands, who is a very good doctor, who can operate really well, that person will be like, okay, this person, if the person is tested and the person excels, okay, this person is tested, this person excels, this person knows what he's doing. But then with that test and exam, you're able to know that, okay, this person is good, whereas another person that is not good, you're able to identify that. But in the ways they are being conducted is what I do not agree with. And what I mean by the ways they are being conducted is, number one, for example, the people that are even conducting the test are not even professionals themselves. The people that judging the test, that are marking the test, they're not even professionals themselves. They don't even know. They just download it from somewhere, and then they are using that to judge other people. So then we have byproducts of the same copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. And by the time they finish, their high school or their university school, you ask some people what you learned in the university, they can't really remember, because the whole process is for them to just like go through it. But accordingly, how I think tests and exams should be run should be, they should actually be metrics. Do you understand? To judge a person's capabilities and abilities, to know what is left. And they should not be used to stigmatize people, because that's where it comes from. When people people don't do it, and just like, you're a dullard, you're crazy, this is not. And then the person examining you, because they have the textbook in their head, they can flip through the pages and they can answer it accurately. They feel like they are on a higher pedestal. But I actually think tests and exam are actually crucial. They should be used, but they should be used rightfully to assess. There should be assessments. Yes, to assess, to say, okay, this person is, with tests and exams, rightful tests and exams. I'm not talking about the textbookish tests and exams. I'm talking about the ones that actually make you apply what you've learned.
Exactly.
Those tests and exams will be able to know that, okay, this person is good in this this field. This person is good in this subject. This person is good in this subject. This person is, you understand, you're able to see their strengths and weaknesses. But tests and exams in the Nigerian setting here, we have a teacher who probably just like graduated NT. There are even some private schools that have like all these low private schools. They have like secondary school graduates teaching at those private schools, and those
Exactly.
secondary school students probably they just had maybe just like 5 credits in their WAEC. Some might not even have WAEC results, but you've gone through secondary school. Just come and
Exactly.
teach. Do you understand? So that kind of person, I can't take their assessment seriously because then they themselves are not, they're not professionals. They don't know what they are doing. They are just trying to understand life. Do you understand? And you are putting people who don't even understand life in their hands. So when they give you test and exam in that aspect, I don't think that is the rightful way to do it. Do you understand? But then it's always arguable. People can say, okay, yes, you're spewing rubbish. I feel test and exam is bullshit and all. Rightfully so, they can have their arguments. But me, I think tests and exams are not, they don't ruin lives. Do you understand? They're just used to assess. Do you get? So that's why. That's what I think.
All right. So,
What would you say to
would you
that?
consider that as a form of woke technology?
Tests and exams. I don't think tests and exams is a form of woke technology, but I think the stigmatization that comes out of, if someone does not do great, they can say, "Oh, this person is not part of us." It's the discrimination that comes that, "Oh, you didn't score 70 in your mathematics test. That's stupid." Do you understand? But you didn't score 100 in your English. That's in your English test. That's nonsense. So that will make those people who actually have high score feel like they are woke, feel like they are aware, feel like they know what's going on.
Exactly.
And the person that does not, you understand, that could not just pass like 100 on their scripts is like very, not woke in that sense. But I don't think tests and exams are woke because right from time, although there are different types of way they test people, it doesn't necessarily mean the writing,
Exactly.
and there are different ways to test people. There are different ways to assess people.
There are different ways to
Different
assess
ways to
people,
assess
but
people.
Gregory, if you look at the Nigerian context, at least you and I have been alive for more than 20 years now, so
More than
there's no sweet 16 here, you understand? So, so if you look at the Nigerian contest and the way we've been always been doing our test and exam, so talking about the appropriate institution for that, the educational institution, the test and exam that we've been doing, has it been more of the one where you get to apply or the one where you get to like put stuff down?
see, the Nigerian educational system is painful in terms of like our syllabus are outdated. We are not up to speed. So naturally, if we are thinking about, even if we are talking about being woke in the educational system, Nigeria doesn't have the woke educational system. In terms of like, we do not have the basic. Most of these schools do not have the basic and the fundamentals. You see some teachers that studied English and they tell them, "Oh, you studied English. You also studied now that you're in my school because we don't have enough teachers. Please." Add government to it, add commerce, add literature, add. So in that regard,
Wow.
you don't expect those teachers to actually evaluate someone who is studying literature, right? You don't expect them to actually evaluate someone who wants to study law, right? Because they did not even study it themselves. They are not even professionals in the field.
Interesting.
So it is just like a cycle of nonsense being churned out. So if you want to modify, you want to make tests and exams actually be confirmed metrics, confirm measuring assessment tools, then we should do it rightfully.
Interesting. Well. That's a lot of thoughts. Well, and with some that I agree with some that I will still have to like check later on. But then, talking about the inventions that have ruined or saved lives. So, we talk about one that there's still a lot of debate on it. Should we actually even really have social media in today's world?
I was going
Is
to
it
say
really
social media. I was
necessary?
going to say social media. Social media is one of the wokest. In fact, it is the woke. It is the mother of woke.
But you know,
It is
it's
the
just
mother of
us
woke.
being on a different space. It's still
Yes.
everyone, but in a different
And
place,
it is
like in a
very
one.
funny. I think social media has actually ruined more lives than it has saved.
Okay,
I
so your
think
point being,
social media has ruined more lives than it has saved.
And
I
why?
feel that way. I'm not saying social media has never saved any lives.
Of
A lot of people
course.
have their
It
jobs on
has.
social media. They have
Yeah,
their
sure.
livelihoods on social media. Social media, coming together as a community to fight against injustice has worked on so many levels. If there is a victim of something and it's on social media, people would fight for
Exactly.
it. So social media is not a condemnable tool. I'm not going to say it is. No, it should be disbanded, it should be discarded, but it gives people a platform to do nonsense just as much as it gives people a platform to be productive.
Media,
Yeah, it also gives people a
creative.
platform to be aggressive, to be intrusive, to be judgmental, to be wicked, to be. Some people who feel low in their personal lives, probably they are feeling like a loser in their personal lives, in terms of like probably they don't have enough motivation to work, and they're lazy and they can't find motivation around them, and they're probably like borderline depressed, and they have social media. Some of those people can use it as a tool to bully others, because I feel like shit, you too should feel like shit, and they'll find their community.
Of
There's always a
course.
community of terrible people on social
There's a
media.
community for everyone.
Yes, there's
Everyone.
everyone. So if you're saying I don't fit in, just go on social media. You'll find a place to fit in. That's just it. You'll find a place to fit in. If you want to insult people, there are a lot of people insulting people. If you want to be nice to people, there are a lot of people being nice to people. If you want to give to charity, there are a lot of charity organizations on social media.
Exactly.
Social media is just like an open street. So it's just like an open street for you to do and undo. So that's social media. And I think social media has ruined a lot of people's life, because it is easier for people to set fake standards on social media. It's easier for people to set fake expectations on social media, because it's not the real world, right? It's like a safety bubble.
That pressure.
Yeah, it's like it's like a detachment from your real world. Yeah. Although your human self, your real extension, it shows on social media. What you do, it's portrayed on your social media. But it's very easy for you to fool people, because people are not looking you directly in the face. Don't you think?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
very easy
sure.
for me to come on social media and say, "Oh my God, Candace Owens is this, Candace Owens is that," and meanwhile I'm watching
Exactly.
Candace Owens and be like, "Oh damn girl, you're doing great." So it's very easy.
Yes, exactly. We
Very
were talking
easy.
about the physical wokeness and the digital wokeness the other time. Yeah, so I think it comes back to that this time around. Where in the physical space, you are this person, and the digital space, you are this lion that can attack anybody. They can't come and beat me in my house. They even know my house, except they want to use extreme ways to trace you. So yes, I think there's a kind of balance based on your explanation about people who believe social media shouldn't have been in existence, while people who believe that, oh, I think it has actually done a lot of good. So I think I don't know. Well, viewers can actually like help with that data support, but then I think in my own view that it's kind of like a balanced stuff as regards the good and the bad that it has actually like projected in today's world. So it's quite an interesting discussion as regards social media. Has it ruined more lives or has it saved more lives? So
Oh my
yes,
God, I feel it
a lot
has
of people have
ruined.
different
Yeah.
opinion about that. But then yes, a lot of ways. So we read a lot of stories on social media. Yeah, Nigerian contests, this and that. Using it to promote child pornography, using it to like
Yeah.
sell some bad stuffs and all of that. Even places that are not in Nigeria in the world. Then, well, our government believed that we had this X platform to actually like incite violence. Yeah, based on their own view, they had to close it down. They had to shut it down. We're totally locked out of Twitter at that time. That's some
But
power.
when we locked out of see,
Well,
social media always finds its way. It's
yeah.
just like it's always fine.
You
People are like,
kill one
people
grows.
were like, social media is
Exactly.
banned from Nigeria. Then there's VPN. Come on, we live in the 21st century.
Yeah,
21st century.
exactly.
There's VPN. People still access Twitter at the time.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people were on Twitter at the time. The only people that were really affected by that are really like registered organizations, big
they could
financial
not use
institutions.
VPN.
They could not use Twitter because they have to comply to the rules of the president.
Exactly.
But a random person, Twitter warriors, the Backstreet Boys of Nigeria, everybody was on Twitter.
There is always a
And
way.
people were still shading the government for saying, "Oh, you said we should not be on Twitter. Here is
We
us
are
on
on
Twitter. What
Twitter.
are you going to do
Abio.
about it?"
They also find their way
Yeah,
into
they're like,
Twitter.
what are you going to do about it? We are on Twitter. Yes, this is us. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was penalized for being on Twitter. Nobody was saying, oh, your crime was being on Twitter when the president said you should. Because people can tell you that on social media, I have my power. It gives people this edge of invisibility. You're not invisible, by the way. People can still trace you. But that's smoke screen that
Exactly.
you can't see me, so I
See,
can do
that's
like
yeah, like you said,
John
safety
Cena.
bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, that safety bubble. Like you can't see me, so I can say and do whatever it is I want to do. And social media, I just feel social media sets false expectations for people. There are people who do great with social media. Social media gives me a platform to be able to at least do this, to be able to interact with people who have
Share
who
ideas.
have like the same goals as I do. I get my clients on social media. I want to write so article. Can you help me write so article? I want to design this. Can you help me design this? Social media gives a platform to people, but just as much as it gives platform to people to be productive, it also gives platform to people to do the opposite,
Exactly.
to rain on people, to troll people, to be aggressive, to sit at in the comfort of their house to judge people. So in terms of it's like the how do I say it, the court of law for the social court of law. Yes, the social court of law. That's social media. And I think a lot of people have had their lives being ruined by social media because they see all this fakeness on social media and they feel they project it on their own real lives and they want to aspire to be that way. I put something on my WhatsApp status. I don't know if you saw it when I was there. Like I will never understand why people get BBL. I do not understand it.
I saw
I
that.
will never, like, for the
I
life of
saw
me,
that.
I don't get it. It's not that I'm trying to be like, oh, BBL is terrible. Actually, I'm not even saying if it's good or bad. I'm just saying I don't get it. There was this video I saw of a woman, her implant was shifted and she had to use her hand to adjust it and it was normal. And I was like, if that doesn't freak you out, you are weird. There's something wrong with you.
Body modifications.
Exactly.
That's let's try and trace that. Okay, I want to modify my body because I saw. Did I see it in a physical space or in the digital space? Okay, let's say probably I saw it in the digital space. I saw a celebrity I liked. She had this body I want. So, and I see other people trying to get that kind of body. I've seen the social currency it has given her, and I think I should do the same. So I think we can actually retrace that to the social pressure you actually mentioned. Because when we try to think about matters, where do people actually even pick that inspiration from?
Exactly, like
You
how,
understand?
where.
Exactly. Where do
Where?
people actually pick that inspiration from? So yes, a lot of it are on the digital space. Even kids that are learning by observation now, once you give them that tool, that enabler to get into that digital space, or they are gone. You have to shape them, you have to modify their behavior there, you have to guide them there. A lot of discussion talking about child use of digital space. So but then I think it's a balance stuff if we'd actually like look at it, the good and the bad of it. So but then imagine a world without all the social media we have now. What would it look like?
That was all the world before social media came.
Yeah,
Was
well,
the
what
world,
will it
was
look
the,
like now?
Was the world horrible then? Was the world horrible then?
I
I'm
would
not saying
say
social
yes.
media
I
is
would say
terrible.
yes. I would say
You're
yes.
saying yes because you've got to experience this world.
Oh,
If you were born in that world where you don't have an inclination of this world, you don't have any idea of what social media is, I think you would adapt, you'll survive, and you'll be just fine.
okay, so Gregory,
It feels terrible now because you know what it is and because you know what it does.
this is a very interesting part to actually discuss. Okay, so Gregory,
Okay.
our parents used to say back in our days,
Yes.
things are not as bad as now.
Even you,
Is it true?
even you will say back in our days. Even
Let's
you
use the
will
empirical
say
facts
back
that we
in our
have.
days.
Wait, let's use the empirical facts now. Was it actually better these days when our mothers and fathers write love letters to each other via mail and one post time we have to deliver it? Unlike
see,
now that you can just say, "Hey,
text.
hello, how are you doing? Fine, I'm fine." Okay.
Do you know I
XOXO like that.
I can text LOL to your joke and I don't find it funny.
Yeah. Can you send that in a post? Like, can you send a
Do you think I'm going to text like me laughing and saying I enjoyed your joke and go through all those all those energy to actually write a letter to go and post is just to lie. You don't think I'm going to do that? It is very easy.
Yeah. I'm getting your
Do
point
you?
now. So, but then, do we have some other form of ways that, in their own days, without the social media, you can actually see them as a kind of like projection
Do you
of
know
what
you
is
actually
happening
lived
today?
why are you speaking like
Wait,
the Gen Z
wait.
baby?
No,
You know
no,
you
no.
actually lived before social
Well,
media.
You know, back then we could remember none of.
You can remember you
I
playing
can't
with your
really remember
friends.
then.
You can
Yeah, I
remember you
played
playing with
my
your friends.
after school a lot. Once I come back from school,
And now,
once I come back from school, then I do my homework outside till 7. I can even go back to school. I used to do a very crazy thing back then. I will walk back to school. That is how much play was.
now
in
it was in those days.
You could
See,
walk the next
see.
5-10 streets and nothing would actually
Will happen.
So
Your
we're not
parents
saying
would
it's safe,
actually
but
tell
then-
you, "Well, actually go and play outside."
Exactly.
You
go
don't
and play
understand.
outside.
Now you tell your kid go and play outside. You won't
Now
find
go
your
and
kid
play on your
again.
tab. Go and play on your tab. Take
Just
your
go
tab.
and watch cartoons.
Watch TV.
Watch TV. Watch cartoons. We
Exactly.
just hand it to them like an option. Like just watch TV.
Take this. Stay.
I don't have a kid, but then my friends, and it's very evident on social media. It's very evident online. My friends just be like, "Oh, this boy is disturbing me. Take my phone. This girl is disturbing me. Take my phone. This person is just about me to TV phone. Just turn on the TV." Yes, and those children will just
We had TV
be
too,
conditioned.
then. But then
TV then, when you watch it, you are eager to tell your friends about it. During those times when we watch Fantajiro and we watch Nico and we watch all these interesting cartoons, Kim, all those very interesting cartoons, we are so eager, like
the
Galaxy
Pinky and
TV,
the Brain.
the Pinky and the
Oh
Brain,
my God.
Dexter's Lab.
I
We are so
can't
eager to
forget.
tell our friends like, "Oh, did you watch last episode? Do you do this? Do you do this?" Now we don't need to go and tell our friends that.
Yeah.
We just go online and shit on the movie and tell it's trash. Is this is nonsense? We critique it. Everybody is now like so prideful. They don't appreciate creativity in its raw form. They think you have to conform to a society,
It's
like
coming together now.
a kind of way for them. Randomly now, if you watch the Pinky and the Brain now, you'll be like, "Oh, was I so stupid then? Like, well, I found fun in this." But in those times when we're watching the Pinky and the Brain, we're not watching to criticize. We're not watching to point out the things that are wrong with it. We're not watching because we wanted to feel like we are better. Do you understand? We're not watching because we wanted to say, "Okay, this is this and this is that." We're watching for the fun of it. We're watching to enjoy it.
Thank you for that point. That reminds me, Tom and Jerry fans.
Yes,
Oh
Tom
my-
and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry is more violent than any James Bond movie. Do you agree?
Jerry was always on. I mean, Tom was always on Jerry, and it was so crazy. Like the cat and mice always running around, always trying to look for ways to be. And
Tom and Jerry is
they
actually
did not even
really
say
violent.
anything throughout the entire
Exactly.
Nobody spoke. They didn't show any faces. We're just looking at the cat and the mice, and we were just invested because, of course,
It was fun back then.
it was fun. And then when there is no electricity, or when you are disturbing your parents, you just go outside, take your friends, go and play, and you're outside, you're playing football, girls
Oh
and boys. There's
God.
suwe, there's gunsho.
There's a lot
Do you
of
like gunsho?
creative. There was
A lot of things.
creativity
I'm not saying
busted
now
there.
is terrible. I'm not saying now is, but I'm just saying that we would have
have
survived.
less of it.
Yes, we would have survived
survived.
without it. Without it, and it would have been fun. The way we are deriving our fun is because we are searching for new ways for things to be fun. Then at that point in time too, we'll be searching for new ways for things to be fun.
Exactly. I think.
Will you find Suwe fun now?
Oh,
It will be ridiculous in
to
the first
bring back
30.
memories.
Yeah, just
it's
bring
not
back.
something that you do every day.
It-
You know, if you go to a party that kind
Yeah.
of like organized, like
And then you take your
let's do
phone.
that.
Oh, I'm playing Suwe. Remember those times? Then do we
Feel the
have?
fun of it.
Who
Yeah?
would we want to like proclaim to?
Oh well, that's actually a very, very interesting question. Oh wow, well that's true. Social media. If we
Okay.
had none of it right now, would we have survived?
Guys,
So,
please
well,
tell
would-
us.
would we have
Tell us. Would we have survived without social
Media right now, like
I think we would have survived
WhatsApp, none.
without all of it. Without all of it. Serious.
would we have progressed much as we are now?
See, I can't say for a fact that I just feel like whatever everything you do, every action you take has a ripple effect on
Yeah,
society.
sure.
So if you give someone 15 naira now, that 15 naira is either going to save his life
Yeah.
or save somebody else's life. That 15 naira can either destroy his life as well. Because
sure.
he can use to do something terrible that will
Buy
destroy his life.
cigarettes
Buy
might be
cigarettes.
another
He can use to
amount.
buy a weapon to kill somebody.
Yeah, sure.
So there's whatever you do, whatever thing you do. So I can't say for a fact, but I can say that during those times, there are people that are actively working to come to this time. So whether we like it or not, whatever we did then brought us to this time. And now a mega evolution is happening. And what I mean by a mega evolution is happening is that within the last decade, new things are coming out. New, foreign, strange, unrelated things actually coming out
Good or bad?
in both spheres.
Good.
In both spheres, good and bad. And now people are trying to play mind games. People are trying to talk more about feelings. People are trying to discard facts. People are trying to say facts don't matter. We just want to do. We just want to. Do you understand? We just want to
Facts
feel.
don't matter.
Facts
Want
don't
to be
matter.
woke.
When in fact, those things that we did at that point in time that brought us here were all based on facts.
Exactly.
All the vaccines that they were working on were based on their research, right? Were based on the things that we can see, things that are concrete evidence. There's a background to show for it. Nobody fell from the sky, so literally there's a build up. Do you understand? We can say, oh, the human has skeleton. We can't say, oh, we assumed it, because when you break a human apart, you find skeleton, right? But nowadays we are not saying, okay, there is skeleton. We're just saying, what if it's not skeleton? What are we doing, guys? Like, we've come to a point in time whereby facts don't matter. It's just about feelings, and feelings would not take you far. Feelings is very fleeting. It's only facts that will take you far, because those are the only things you can actually build upon. So your feelings today, you can be happy, especially if you're a girl, if you're a woman. You have mood swings, you're on your period, you are cranky. The next minute you are so cuddly and you're so nice, and the next minute you are pregnant and you want to eat this and you want to. So if we are going to be laying our entire foundation, our entire human existence on feelings, it's going to crumble. That's what I think, because it is fleeting. It is not concrete. It does not stay in place. And for you to build something on something, it has to have a foundation. So what are the foundation? Feelings or facts? It comes down to that.
Exactly.
So that's what I think, though.
Oh well, that's quite interesting. That's really interesting. So yeah, well, social media. If we had none, we'd still survive. Yes, you're very right. We'll still survive. We'll find ways to survive. We'll find ways to communicate to each other and all of that later on in life. But then, I think it will still come back to what we're actually still doing now. So, well, that's about inventions that have saved lives or ruined lives.
Yeah.
I talked about one. I think it's still on social media.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still on social media. So fine. A lot of things. So I can't really think of one that is actually like right now.
Social media.
More
Oh
than
my
social
God.
media, more than the other space that we have. And now we're even trying to go into a deeper one. We're trying to go into the metaverse. We're trying to go into another space. Hey, a deeper part to
But
actually
disclaimer,
socialize
guys.
again.
Disclaimer, guys. I actually, it's not as if I'm shitting on social media right now. I actually like social media. It's not as if I'm saying BSing social media and saying it's trash. No. I actually enjoy using
Of
social
course.
media. But I'm just saying that social media has impacted people negatively than it has done positively. I want to ask this question. Have you ever been on social media and probably just like scrolling through social media, and then you just kind of feel like this kind of negative energy, as if you're not doing enough or you're not doing work enough, that you just need to like work your life better you understand, to be able to look better, to be able to do better. And at that point in time, when you take a break and you actually stop yourself from thinking, you actually realize that, wait, all these things I'm consuming, all this, scrolling up, checking through this feed, all this thing I'm consuming, to me, they're actually trying to modify me into a certain way. They're actually trying to twist me to feel like, oh, I'm better than you. You can have this if you do this. You can do this if you do this. You can have this kind of butt if you do this. You can have this kind of chest if you do this. You can have this kind of cars if you do this. They are giving you prescriptions prescription dosages, they're feeding it to you, and you're consuming it, and you realize that when you walk those parts of those people, you are not actually doing anything. You're not fulfilling your life.
Mm,
You're actually derailing. Then you want to conform to be like them, and you
exactly.
neglect your own self.
Well, I think it comes down to our biology. We are this kind of like social animals. We are like the kind of like creations that wants to like be in group. Nobody wants to be alone. Nobody really wants to be like be on the one side and not be with one other side. So yes, you're right. They're really feeding on that fact. Nobody would actually want to be isolated. Nobody actually wants to think differently. Thinking differently nowadays is so new. It's so woke, even in the good side of wokeness and on the bad side of wokeness. So thinking differently right now is considered a threat. Whereas in the space of creation, talking about the fact that you want to like be able to create, you want to be able to like socialize, you want to be able to like put things out there, you actually need people. You actually need to be well involved, see how they think, how they relate, and all of that. So yes, social media on the good side, good, and on the other side, yeah, a little bit of that. But then in my own calculation, I think it's a bit of both and is a necessary evil. But
Social
like
media.
she said, we would have really survived without it. We
Do you
might, we
think
might even come to that
social
point.
media is inevitable? Like it would have even come, even it did not like surface this generation, it would still come out.
Oh well, I think it will still come out. Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's eventually still like catch up with us, but we would have been so deeply soaked in our traditional values that if we are going to bring that out, it's a bit too late, or if anything is going to like derail it or try to like mess with our principle, it's not going to be now. So imagine all those kind of talks that we don't want to have on social media now. If they're just coming out this 2023, nah, we'll have trashed it in our own way, in our own little way. Back then with our social media, we'll have dealt with it. There will have been lot of communities coming out to say this and that, passed a lot of messages and all of that. Yes, there are some things on social media that is because we saw them online, they then became a topic in our society. Yeah, there are some things like
Let me
that. Yeah.
say something. With what you said, I feel and I think that people will talk about bad things. For example, you see something terrible in the society,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are criticizing it, and then you're showing people like these are the bad things. I think you're also giving them publicity.
Yeah.
I think you're also giving them publicity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying people should not do that. I think it's very impactful, but because people get tend to see like, oh, these things are actually happening. But then the flip side is people actually tend to see these things and they go, oh, these things are happening. But then they become so interested, they ignore your video that is telling them, okay, this thing is bad, and they go outside your video to go and search, and then they'll see people supporting it that this thing is also good. Then they become conflicted, and those people will now be left to choose: should I accept this thing or should I repel it? So most of the time, it's how would I put it? It has its downside, because then they feel like, oh, if this person can say, okay, can work around in like naked, and the person is proud and say, I'm a nudist, this is my raw form, this is what God created me in, and then someone is showing the nudist video in their own video saying, oh, this is what this person is saying, but this is, I don't like this is this and this is that, and then I live outside that person's video and I go and check online like, oh, does this really happen? Is this really going down? And then you see some people saying, oh, this is great. Ah, thank God. I've never felt so confident. I've never felt
Exactly.
so this. I've never felt so that. Then you become conflicted, especially if it is something you've never seen before. And the first time you are seeing it is in that video that tell you it is bad.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say?
exactly.
So when you're saying like people who actually condemn something and they bring it on their platform to say, okay, this thing I'm condemning it, this thing it's not good, this is the impact it's having on the social sphere, and then they portray that thing they are showing you in its entire light, like as if it's something people are actually, doing. And I feel it compels people to actually make their own research and then probably accept that thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would give an extreme case that I saw among. I get to work with a lot of kids, so an
Right.
extreme case that I see with a lot of kids these days, that I saw once. I think it has stopped though. So there was a time on social media that the trend, maybe because of the kind of society that we have and the kind of content we watch, which is very important. So the kind of content we watch in this country of ours is different from the kind of content a UK kid will watch. Well, because I work with a diverse group of kids, so I got to see that there was a trend back then in their own space. Very, very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. So imagine taking your pets and putting it in a blender or putting it in a microwave
Pets.
just for views.
Pets.
Yes, your pets.
Pets. Like what?
Yeah,
Pets.
like your pets.
Your
They can
pet's
be
dog or pet's cat or pets.
cats especially.
Or they blend their cats.
Yes.
For what?
People did not actually know. It was a trend back then. People can verify the facts later on. It was a trend back then. It was so
Gross.
crazy. I've never thought of the fact that you could put a cat in a blender.
Yeah.
But seeing it now, if I was not of the right mind, I could explore it.
God bless
I
you.
could
Exactly. So
okay,
people like,
what's
oh,
this but no, I'm not that sick. I'm not in that
but
kind
it's
of
not
society.
everybody
It's
that
not
it is.
everyone.
Yeah, some people just looking for new ways to be more
And
evil.
it was not even a lot of adults that were seeing it. It was a lot of kids,
Kids.
whose mind is not even
Formed,
formed.
and they'll think it's okay to do that.
Exactly. For views. There were lots of dangerous trends then on TikTok.
In as
Another day.
in
Oh my
as
god.
TikTok breeds all
Oh
sorts
my
of.
God. Well,
But I think I kind of enjoy my TikTok algorithm. I don't search for things,
like we said,
anything. I
good
don't.
and bad.
Yes, I don't search for things on TikTok in terms of like actively search for anything. So my algorithm is majorly just K-pop groups and science facts and Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro and probably ballet and yoga
Yeah.
and fitness. So that's what comes on my algorithm because that's what I'm used to,
Exactly.
looking at.
Such a-
Then I made a mistake of there was this time I don't know if you know the Island Boys, Island Boy. I don't know.
I've not heard
Some
of
of my
them.
friends sent me the video, and at that point in time, I said, "Just go and check this on TikTok." I'm like, "What's this? What's this on TikTok?" And I went to search Island Boy, and it brought two interesting individuals, and I was just like, what is going on here? And for the next week, I was having ratchet algorithm on my TikTok. I was seeing people twerking, all sort of. I
Welcome
just had
to the
to.
club.
I just had to like delete my history.
One mistake.
I had to delete my history, and I had to start liking more call me Chris videos, more videos that are relating to what I wanted.
Well, that space will give you what you want. Once you're on this path, just keep going on that path. But once you choose something else, well, they would think, oh, maybe this is what she likes right now. That's why I love animations. So we both watch animations. So I think animations actually give you this other side of what is happening. People like infiltrate animation, but then to actually learn or think about some ideas in a very different way, animation gives you that. So as you were explaining, I could think of an animation that actually explained social media. So there was an animation around that, not the one you see, but behind the scene. Like this is what it's happening. This search goes this and this way, and once you just search up about something like that, they'll think, oh, maybe that's what she like. Feed it.
Feed her with it.
I can remember. I can. My mind is replaying all those animations and I saw.
Make
about
mistakes
it
to
now.
search about dry cleaner.
Oh
my God. Feeding ads of
Wow.
dry cleaners, ads of
Well, I think we can have an entire podcast on this later on, but
yes.
it's quite
Let's
interesting.
just pivot back
It's
to
actually interesting technology to have today.
yeah. Social media is good and bad, but I
That's
think it
good
is
and bad.
more bad than good. So
And we can
that's just
survive
my
without
opinion.
it.
It's a
No, an
platform for
opinion
me.
too.
It's a platform for many. It feeds a lot of people to
Mhm.
think that that's amazing, but it also kills a lot of people mentally, emotionally, physically. It makes people think mental illness is to be proud of. Makes
Mm.
people think mental illness is something
You have to
you
have a
need to,
label.
yeah, you have, it makes people think mental illness or aggression or, some sort of lifestyle is the prevalent lifestyle. I just don't buy into that. I don't like it. Would you, before we move on, would you say your children, would you want them to have probably like social media phones and everything? At what age?
Woo!
At what
That's a
age?
very interesting question. Yeah, we discussed that question 3 weeks ago at the co-creation of a tech festival, where there was a lot of debate as regards at what right age should your kid have their phones and be able to access social media. So yeah, the society, the people that actually created social media said anything more than 14, some 13. So a lot of channels like 13, 14. So but then in my own opinion, so with my own worldview, I would say that I'll keep them on the space and I would like check up with them what they do on the space, but then not at the very early stage. So I'm looking at something like age 16, 17, where the mind is about to get a lot of ideas, a lot of opinions, and things are ready to stick at that moment. So at 16, 17 years, you can have access to your phone that enables you to get to
What about
social
you?
media.
When did your parents like allow
Uh,
you?
to go well, there was nothing like, okay, you're now allowed. So for me, I discovered social media 2010 SS3. So I had to
Likewise.
go open a Facebook account. I had to go open a Facebook account at the cyber cafe just down here. Uh, that was, yeah, pressure. If some friends were opening it and then we all decided to just open it. Was those days of cyber
Remember
cafe,
to go.
you buy minutes and all of that. There was, oh well, Facebook was the first one. Then later we had to go, yeah. So that was my first access to
I,
social media. But it's not as bad as it is
really?
now anyway. But then it was really fun then. There were real conversations then
Yes.
when you talk about social media.
But do you know what I realized during that time still
Yeah.
was that how many followers do you have? How many friends do you have? It was a conversation for Facebook. How many friends do you have? I have 1,000 friends. It was something of pride. I have
We're all
1,000
aiming
friends.
for
And it's like,
1,000.
just follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. And they will post these very quirky, cringy pictures. And we look so cool. I would think we're so cool. Good times.
A lot of things happen to us trying to get on that space, trying to use that technology. A lot of things happen to us. And it's actually even revealed a lot of things we were hiding as a society back then. So we are not even a society that have this contentment. So we're a society that wants to conform, that wants to have more than what we have right now. So well, I like the fact that it's actually brought out another part of us. I like that fact. So we get to see some people through this. So there's the digital me, there's this physical me. Well, some people they're able to have those two together. So I can be sleeping in Nigeria now and be like, no, take really cool pictures. You think I'm on the island.
But wait,
I'll look for the nice houses around there. So, all right, so I was talking about the fact that I like the fact that it revealed another side of us.
aha, yes, that was what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Do you think people can actually like detach their online self from their actual self? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, if you're someone of facts, truths, and ideas that can be supported by data, yes, you can be both. You can be both, but just be ready for some backlash. So yes.
In what sense? Like I don't
So
get it.
if you're someone that's you're a straightforward person, whereas on the digital space, some people don't appreciate that. So be ready with the backlash of, oh, you shouldn't have said that in that way. So that's where you now learn the rules of social media. Then I'll tell you, no, on this space,
Conform.
oh, you don't use such, you don't go so direct, you don't just, you understand. So that is where you get to learn that rule. So with time, you might be someone that conforms, but if you have the coconut head, you just keep being you in the physical space and on the digital space. A lot of things will come at you, but then just don't get
ignore
shaken.
it.
Yeah,
But
just
actually,
yourself.
I think people on social media and people in real life are the same. They're actually, it's actually intertwined. It's just an extension of themselves, an extension of themselves, in the sense that if you come on social media and you portray a wrong lifestyle, try to oppress people to think you, like, this is kind of lifestyle you are, and you're better than everybody. If you come with that notion on social media to do that kind of thing, I think it's just an extension of yourself, meaning you might be kind to the people you like, you might be kind to your family and friends, but you're also a liar.
Hmm.
I feel that way. If you come on social media to curse at people, to
Yeah.
insult people,
Some people, yeah.
you might be, and in real life people say, oh, that girl is very gentle. I say you might be gentle, you're selectively gentle to the people you want to be selectively
Exactly.
gentle to. But an extension of yourselves mean you are aggressive, you are insultive, you are abusive. If you are on social media
And because of that
and
safety
you
bubble.
are showing off your body parts, probably walking nude, where on social media, now that you have children on social media, not minding, I feel in real life you are perverted.
Yeah.
You're just hiding it.
Yeah.
So your social media extension is an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
But do I think people
Understood.
can grow from it? I think people can grow. People can realize their mistakes and people can move from it.
Exactly.
For example, some people get bullied for things they've said on social media, probably like 8 years ago, probably when they are 14, 15, 13. Something they said probably when they are 12 years old, probably they just freshly opened their Facebook account
Yeah.
and they are saying something like, like something, and then probably when they are like in their early 20s, they realize, oh, that's terrible, that's you understand, and they have reformed and they've changed, you understand, and you start seeing a growth and development in their social media interactions. Then you see somebody going back to like 2013 to dig up a post and said, oh, you are still that same person. No, I think people can grow, people can develop, people can change, but actively, I'm talking about 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 months, 4 months. I'm talking about, in fact, 3 years. You are posting nude pictures where children can easily reach those. You understand those pictures. You are cussing out people. You are venting your anger on people. You are insulting people's father. I feel if if I am to look at you in real person, to say your real form, I'll say you are disrespectful. I'll say you are ratchet, probably perverted. I'll also say you're manipulative. You're trying to project a different life. So people who actually know you will say, "Oh, this person is a good person. She's just doing that on social media." No, no, no. She's actually that person, and she's just
Exactly.
showing you like a version of
I
herself.
like the point you're
But
bringing
yes,
up now.
but that
Yes,
extension of themselves on
exactly.
social media, that is who they are. That is what they do.
Aha,
That's
that's
what
good.
you understand.
Exactly.
That's it. So if they come like, oh, it's just social media, nobody really checks. No, 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 no.
You're not catching
Those people
cruise
you
here.
are actually meeting, those people you're actually
Oh,
cussing,
yes.
are they not real people too?
Yeah, I think they catch cruise now.
Yeah, they
but
say catch
that is
cruise.
actually who they have.
They,
just like you
yes,
said.
who they are.
They actually have it, but then this platform enabled it.
Yes.
Now made us to see it. Oh,
Yes.
so you even have these traits.
Yes.
Yes, they do. It's not catching cruise.
Yes.
So yes, so it's a very good notion. It's a very good point.
So
to
in that
actually
in
make.
that regards, it ruins. I think it just ruins a lot of things.
Yeah.
I was, when I got here, I was telling you something about, I met someone who can't take no for an answer in the bus. So while coming, I was in a rickshaw, like tricycle, keke napep, coming from my home to Agbado, and this person sat beside me, and this person was like, a stranger you've never met before, someone you've never had, and I've never seen in my entire life. He has never seen me in his entire life, and he said, "Oh, can I have your contact?" I'm not saying it has anything to do with maybe relationship or sexual relationship. No, no, no. I'm just saying you can ask anybody for their contact. It could be
Sure.
business wise, it could be
Yeah.
anything wise. But as my own individual, I'm very selective of the kind of people I give my contacts. I have my contacts that I give to people I want to do business with, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I'm very selective of people I want into my WhatsApp. I don't want to see some certain statuses. I don't want to have some certain conversations. I can't. I'm not someone that just meets a stranger and that and just wants to like immediately be friends. I'm not a social butterfly, so I tend to keep my personal space very personal in that regards. You understand? What kind of people I interact with. Although sometimes I fall time, I post some things on social media and be like, oh, like I visited this place today. That's my personal life. I know the people I want to see it. I have my own personality, right? So when he said, give me your contact, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, out of respect for you, I'm not going to give you my contact. He was like, how is it out of respect for me? I said, because it is very respectful for me not to give it to you now than to give it to you and then block you.
Yeah.
You feel so disrespected, like, who the hell is she? Like, person I just met. You understand? I said out of respect. It was like, you don't. It doesn't matter. You can be friends with. I said it's true. But as an individual, my personality does not
It's
want.
not
Yeah,
how
it's not.
it's-
I
yeah.
don't want to just be friends with anybody. It's not as if I can't be friends with anybody. But then I don't want to. I want to have comfortable friendships I'll be able to. That's what I told him. And can you believe this guy badgered me from? I was in the tricycle for about 30 minutes. This guy badgered me. He was saying women of nowadays, girls of nowadays. I had my AirPods on, but for the comedic effect, I just had like one, like it's lowered so I can
Women
hear
of
what he was
nowadays,
saying. Women of
generalization.
nowadays, they try to act as if they are better than everybody. I said this at the end of the day. I was telling him that this conversation you just had with me now is the same reason why I don't want to give people my number, because it would transcend to a point in time whereby something would happen and you start telling me women of nowadays, you start disrespecting
Exactly.
me. But out of respect for you, I'm not going to give you my contact. But you don't even care about that respect for yourself. You don't care about that respect for me. You just want to, you understand? You want to like, you just want to talk. Do you understand? Now, when my point is this: when the man got out of the tricycle, he got down before me and he left. The driver was telling me that, and this man is a respectable man in society. Oh. He's a very
I
good
see.
man.
I
Oh.
see. I see.
He's a very good man. Oh. He has a wife and he has children. Probably he just
Oh,
wants to be
really?
friends with you. Now I'm telling you that yes, that man, you think he's a good man. You think he's a respectable man. But in my own sight, in my
Just-
own view,
It just
I don't.
brought out
It's just.
another part
It just.
of
But
himself.
yes, because I'm a stranger. Do you understand? I
Yeah.
don't know him well. If it was someone I probably knew while growing up, he will want to keep that facade. Like, I'm a good person. She's my friend. She's my homie. I won't want to, do bad things to her. I don't want to, grow that way.
Not
But
to
for-
judge, but then imagine what
Yeah.
that kind of person would do online.
Yes. Now imagine what that kind of
Aha.
person would do online, whereby nobody can see him. Nobody knows what he looks like. Nobody knows what he
Exactly.
does. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in that regard, it is just weird.
Oh,
It is just weird. So just imagine what that kind of person would do on social media when they don't. Yeah.
interesting.
So if I just feel social media is a tool to to just like bring out a side of you people don't really know.
And it's not catching cruise. I think it's high
It's
time we
not.
actually correct that, because
It's not.
people
It's
throw
not.
jabs at each other on Twitter and be like, "Well, they're just catching cruise. You were asking me about joke the other time. Can't you relate with a joke? Can't you like take that joke in? They're just catching.
Yeah, it's a
in Nigeria we
joke.
call it catching cruise,
Yeah,
but then
catching
you're
cruise,
actually
it's a
projecting
joke.
another
Projecting
side of yourself.
It can be, yeah.
Exactly. So it's more like people get bullied. So that same bullying that we don't want for our
Yeah.
kids, we are exercising it in that kind of form if we're actually paying attention, which is really, really expensive in today's world. So interesting.
So it's just like that. So the social media ruin more than I think it's a woke technology, though.
Yeah, it's
It's a very woke technology. It
Yeah.
subjects you to social prejudice, social judgment. It's and social acceptance. So you're in the social court of law when it comes to social media. So I think it's woke in that and it also makes you aware of the things around you.
Exactly.
Because a lot of things I've learned on social media, a lot of cases of injustice that I've learned on social media, people coming out together, people trying to defend people who are weak. That's the beauty of social media. But the
Exactly.
flip side is horrible. You don't want to be on the flip side of social media. You don't want to be on the side of social media where people come at your neck. No, because people they don't care because you're not one on one. So
Can't see you.
it
They
doesn't.
don't even know you.
The interesting thing is that people are well mannered. I'm not talking about in other countries. I'm talking in Nigeria.
Yeah,
People
in
are
Nigeria.
well mannered when you are in a bus with a stranger. They know not to speak in your face. They know not to push you. They know not to touch you. They are well mannered. Bike men, if you want to get on their bike, they are well mannered. They know that, oh, this is my passenger. This is my source of livelihood.
Yeah.
People who are selling, people who are buying, they are well mannered. This is my car. Although some people are rude naturally, do you
Yeah,
understand?
sure.
But on the larger sphere of things, people are well mannered.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. People are
true.
well mannered. But on social media, they lose it. They
And
just lose it.
It's an extension of themselves.
Yes, it's an extension of themselves. They just lose it. Just go on that barrage. That's just that's what we're going to say about that. So just tell me, do you think social media is a woke technology? Do you think it's like ruins life than it saves? Let us know, guys.
Check it.
All right, we took a break, guys. Welcome back. So we're going to continue. So we've talked about what we think woke technology is. We talked about the ideas or the ideology around the entire woke technology, and we also talked about examples of woke technology that has ruined lives than it has saved lives. And one of the examples that I gave or he gave, it was you, was social media, and we kind of like expatiated on that. I took like a good portion of the entire conversation of the ideologies on the wokeness of social media. We also talk about weapons being woke technology, our opinion. So if you have any technology, you have any idea or any lists or names of technology you think is part of woke technology, please put that in the comment section and just tell us why you think it's a woke technology. This is our opinion and we want to move from that. So now I'm going to ask a question here. It says, why don't people read terms and conditions? Because yes, because we can argue that these technologies are woke, right? And say, oh, they are this, they are that. We can point fingers, but then there's terms and conditions. So why do we just skim past that and then
Because it's so long.
because it's so long.
It's so long, so lengthy. There's a lot to read. There's a lot of technical jargons. There's a lot to like
It's not
see.
simple.
It's not simple. It's not relatable. It's like reading another term paper, like reading another academic term. It's like reading for another exam. So it just wakes up that, oh, you have to read this and read that. Yeah, I just don't want to do that. So except if before you actually got to that kind of space, you're doubtful of some stuff, then you can go check a particular section that talked about that. So that's the only way I think I might actually read. So, but people don't read it because of that reason, because it's quite boring.
It's quite
There could
boring.
be a way to make it interesting. I don't know, but then it's quite boring to read.
If they were going to make terms and conditions interesting, how do you think they will make terms and conditions interesting?
Well, in my own view, if you actually like make it interesting, you actually make it an interesting in such a way that when I see such terms and condition, you show me the summary that is particular to me.
How do they know the
So
summary that is particular to you?
that would have been like you employing AI to actually decipher, okay, my interests, my search, my all of that, and put it into such terms and condition like this might be of particular interest to you. This part might be of particular interest to you, and this is what our terms and conditions states
But
about that. So it can be interesting in that way. I don't see you making a PowerPoint presentation. I still would not read it. So that might not be interesting. I don't see you gamifying it because I just want to pass through. I just want to get into TikTok. If I download TikTok now, I want to see the first video. Immediately I finish registering. That is what I want to see. I don't want to read. But then, if there's a little break off, this is the terms and condition that might be of particular interest to you. Aha, let's say I'm a 14-year-old logging in now, and you now be like, oh, this about cyberbullying as regards our term of condition. This is a part where we deal with cyberbullying. Do you still want to?
but I think AI is just prevalent. It's just getting like more prevalent. I'm not saying AI has never been in a
Okay.
long time, but
Yeah.
nowadays AI is getting more,
Yeah.
learning more. So even before AI started becoming like the main,
Yeah.
people have been ignoring terms and conditions.
Yeah,
So
sure.
let's say we are back in probably like 2011, 2010, and terms and conditions are still out, and people still skip. So why do you think people are skipping terms and conditions? I think, in my own opinion,
Yeah.
I think terms and conditions are written to rope you into something. Like they are written like how would I say, to rope you into accepting. Number one, the fonts are ridiculously tiny compared to other fonts on the screen.
Okay.
The fonts are ridiculously tiny.
Okay.
It gets longer. I don't think terms and condition ever gets shorter. They keep updating it. It gets longer, and it's not simple. It's not simple in terms of like, if you even if you skim through, you come across a lot of jargon, a lot of technicalities, technical words being used in it, that it just makes it difficult for you to just like glance through. And I also think people are lazy. People don't want to hear what they are getting into. They don't even
We
want to
are
know if it's a
lazy.
blood
Yeah.
covenant. They just want
I
they
don't want
just
to
want
read
to
it.
they just want to get to the part where the thing is working for them. And then when they meet a stumbling block, or when something happens, there's a regulation that is being shoved in their face, they go like, oh, this is unfair, this is not good, this is being discriminatory. And then they probably sue the company, or they go as far as, sue is even going far, they go as far as comment on that platform or other platforms to insult the company. And then I'm just like, it's in their terms and conditions. Like, this is what you get for being on our platform for free. Although some terms and conditions are really, like, they are crazy, but it's
Well,
there.
it's a necessary thing to have on the platform. So we can actually say that they should make it bigger fonts or bigger or bolder. So it's something we have to read. So, but then a lot of us don't read it because yes, it's super boring to read it. It's
So
more like I
how do you
want
think they
to.
can make it interesting? Do you think they should put it in a song? Probably put it in a
No,
song.
I
It's
still
just
would
go,
not
our
listen to
terms
it.
and conditions
No,
for
I still would not
this
listen to
platform
it.
is this. I keep going.
No, okay. So that's why I said, we're in a world where we want to have the short version. So I feel just give people this short version
Like,
that
just
is
summarize it.
applicable. Don't even summarize it.
Just give them short.
Just
Don't do
find a
this,
way for your
don't do this.
platform
If
to
you do
learn
this,
about
this is what
me.
will happen. Don't do
Exactly.
this, but actually I think the way it is long is so that they can, like a loophole, they make all those term conditions look like a loophole, easily modifiable, easily translated to what they want it to be. For example, although I think there's a term and condition that I once skimmed through that was just like brief. This is what you expect, this is what you expect. But some other terms and conditions are very long and all of that. And some don't even give you the full term and condition. They'll ask you to click on a link that will take you to their policies
Mm-hmm.
and all of. I'm like, why? Why is it so long? Why do we have to go through that stress? But I think that is what people should, like, people should not expect to just be on those platforms and not expect repercussions in some way, and not expect regulations, and not expect rules. So it comes down to, like, we have it there. If you don't want to read it, it's your problem.
Not sure.
But we have it there. We are informing you that this is the regulations on our platform. So I think it's interesting why people don't read terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Guys, put it down. What do you want to say? You want to say something?
Oh, well, I actually just want to add that the old terms and conditions thing is like you preparing to eat. You're so hungry, you really want to eat, and someone wants to have a 5 minutes conversation with you
About the food.
before you take your first
Yeah.
spoon.
What-
Oh
I want
my
to-
god.
I want to.
No.
Oh my god.
Like I'm really hungry to go see what that platform is.
But do you think people are really hungry to see what that platform is?
Well, even if they're not
Or
hungry,
people are just
they
like nonchalant.
No,
They don't
no.
care about what you think as the inventor or as the
Attention,
owner.
no. I just don't want to read all of that. Maybe later, maybe you can remind us later. Like Google used to say, we've updated our policy. Some apps will tell you they've updated their policy. This is what they've added.
What's
You understand?
new?
They'll say, okay, we've added this section and this bar. We've
But
changed
you
this
know
word.
what? They keep adding those sections, and people have never read the previous
No,
one.
no.
So what the hell are
we
they
don't want
adding?
to- Yeah, well,
What
for
the hell are they
them,
adding?
if anything happens in the future, it saves them. We send this mail, we
Yeah,
send that
it's
mail.
safe.
We wrote this, we paid a lawyer that wrote all these terms, but still did not read. So our hands are
I think
wet.
I
So
should
for
have
them,
I should have terms and conditions just in case, just in case, just in case. I should just have terms and conditions. Somebody comes to me later in the future and be like, "Oh, you said this on this platform." I won't deny, because of course I did say it. Then I'll just be like, "Didn't you read my terms and conditions?
exactly,
It's there."
it's there. But for companies, it has to be longer. So I guess that's the
Why?
reason
Why is it long?
it has to be longer because there are lots of sections to talk about. There's about the
The
use, there is
addresses.
about the data, there's about the storage,
Privacy, security.
policy, that has to do with work, security, handling matters within. So there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
So it only takes an interested person to really like skim through, but it takes a very, very deeply focused person that would actually, and very interested person that will actually look through each section very well. especially when the technology is new, or especially when it's like their first time using such technology.
Your bank apps, that is
Uh-huh.
very delicate. Your bank apps, have
Oh,
you ever read their terms and conditions? Nope. I can count like all the people I know, most of the people I know
no! Why
never
do I want
read
to read
the
that?
terms and conditions. So even if the application is directly impactful in their lives, if for example the bank I'm using now just goes like I told you the other day that
Mm-hmm.
they just deducted money from my account, and I was like, do you understand? So even if something happens, you do get that protects them in their terms and condition. We have not read it. How many people have actually fought against those duty they once upon a time we didn't used to have the stamp duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have stamp duty. People just kind of adapted to it because they know that it's just a small amount out of the amount in my account, but then it's probably in their terms and conditions somewhere.
Well, that's something worrying. So, but then I saw a case study of this where we're at an event and it was simply pasted on the wall that please be advised that your images would be used in a proportional material. That was really simple. That was really simple.
But then
There
even
wasn't
if you don't want your image to be used but you're at the event already,
uh
can you go home?
well, you can decide not to be in that room. So it wasn't pasted in
Okay,
all the
or
rooms.
rooms.
So, but there are some particular rooms where, okay, if you're in that room, we have the right to take your pictures and videos. But if you're not, aha, you're not part of us. So, well, it's really, really, really interesting. But terms and condition, man, nobody wants to read that. I don't want to read that. No, I don't want to read that.
Guys,
I just skip through.
guys,
Have
terms
you
and
ever read
conditions.
a terms
Terms
of
and
condition that
conditions.
is almost like 10 pages before actually
And they will even
going
have a
into the
link,
app?
another link
Oh
to their
my.
policy, like just read our terms
Oh.
and policy and agreement and so guys, what do you think about terms and conditions? Do you think, of course, terms and conditions are useful, they are needed,
Yeah,
to protect
the
the
company.
company, yeah, and to also protect the
Yeah.
users. So but a lot of people go like, oh, but this happened, and the company just go, did you read the terms and conditions? So guys, what do you think? Do you read terms and conditions? Like woke technologies have terms and conditions, and I don't think terms and conditions don't used to be as long as they are now. People used to make deals over an handshake before,
But they will still write stuffs later on.
but
They'll
the
still write
writing
stuff.
stuff is like, okay, I owe this person this amount, I owe this person. Even wills don't used to be as long as now. Wills are so crafted in a way that this person should be given this amount if this person meets this expectation, and if this person has this, and if this person does this, or if this person is not this, if and only if, maybe or not perhaps, those kind of long
Well, my comments on that would be that we're in a world that is quite sensitive,
very
and there's a
sensitive.
need to really
Very
explain
sensitive.
longer than necessary, especially the use of words and conditions and statements. So that's why there is if, there is then, there is else in all those kind of statements. So I think it's all born out of the fact that a little word in today's world can land you somewhere else. So that's why there are longer explanations for things, and there are more and more things that are really, really, really coming up. Yes, there was no gender or sex or race or something like that in discussions before, but now we have to include them, as especially as regards workplace. So if you're getting a new job, you send your letter, read them. I think when it comes to job, those terms and condition, people read them.
But what of platforms? Just like
But when it's
platforms
now
like
platforms now,
Instagram, like
and
Twitter, like
we just want to get
X,
there.
like TikTok.
Nah. When it comes to some apps, or maybe you're playing a game now, and this game has this and that, you might not even bother to read them. So because you just want to play. But when it comes to some apps like that, you really want to take your time to study them, because this is a
Probably
very
apps
sensitive
that are
topic.
asking for maybe like your social, your BVN,
Aha.
they're
When
asking
it
for
comes to
your
that part now,
NIN,
do they
your
store
NIN
it?
number, yeah, your number,
Do
yeah.
they save it somewhere that is safe?
Even some
Is it
apps,
secure?
yeah, even some apps like tell you that they're going to use this, they're going to
Exactly.
use your data. Do you understand? They tell you they're going to use your data. There's something interesting now. Even nowadays, these websites, if you want to go on a website, they'll have to tell you accept cookies, accept all cookies,
You
reject
want this
all.
biscuit?
Yes, reject all, and then you say, okay,
Or manage this cookie.
you now click on probably like you want to reject, then they'll
Mhm.
tell you these are the only things you can reject.
Exactly.
Like you
So,
can't,
but
you
you
want
have
to
to
come on
keep
our
the
platform.
necessary cookies.
Yes, you have to come on our platform, and I just it's just ridiculous. It's just
All I'm looking
ridiculous.
for is just that checkbox that will only
Yeah.
leave necessary cookies alone. So I don't want to click on the other ones. Well, that's for terms and
That's what
conditions.
terms are. Do you have any questions you want to ask me or you want to
Oh
ask the
well,
audience?
it's been an interesting
Conversation.
conversation, and it's actually even took us off what we actually even plan to talk about, and it's quite interesting. So, well, I think the keynote for me on this podcast is the fact that even with our basic beliefs and everything that we already have inside, we are prepared to be wrong. So, and we really want to involve the audience, want to hear your opinions, want to hear your stuffs. We just have our own thoughts. We are not saying we are right, and we are using the facts that we know, which you can also verify from your
Facts.
end.
Facts.
So, and the truth that you know,
Factuality.
and we are trying to just like make it a very very balanced view and all of that. So it's been quite interesting. Work technology, in summary, to me, is a necessary evil. You understand? So it's still left to the audience. It's left to whoever is think hearing this talk, whoever is listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube. So it's still left to you to actually decide what to do. We are just giving our own opinions as regards what we
Work
think it is on both
technology.
sides, what it means to different people, the different ways, what we've observed, and everything. So
Hmm. Stay woke, guys.
stay woke in your own way or whatever you mean, whatever you think wokeness means to you.
Come
Whether
on.
stay wokeness is about being awake, being awake.
Just be aware. I'm not even going to say
So
stay woke. Be aware, guys. Be
so
aware.
but be aware in such a way that you make life
Yeah.
comfortable for yourself and the
Impactful.
people around you.
Positively.
So, yeah, positively.
We are we're preaching positivity here. We don't want people to be subjected to prejudices of the prejudice of social media or the judgment of social media all the time. People just having their life revolve around woke technology, the way people just, and do you know what I think, to sum this up, is that what I think is that technology just exists, right? It's not to these people that actually put this technology in place, they actually had probably very good motivations to do so, good reasons, and some people or some twisted people just take it and they just turn it around to be something else, and then it is more prevalent. What those people do with it is more prevalent. For example, I learned somewhere that OnlyFans was, actually created for creatives, who want
Wow.
to meet with
Really?
yeah, who want to meet with clients and share their creative
Wow.
work and all of that. And now it's when you mention OnlyFans, you just have to cover the ears of
Oh
your
my
child.
God.
Like, mommy, what OnlyFans? No, we don't do
even
that.
exploit.
Don't even no, don't explore, don't do it. So there's technology.
But then is
People
the
make you
founder
woke.
still the founder?
I don't know. I don't have that much
I
information.
think that's something which someone can actually dig.
Yeah, dig
When the
into.
founder found out what people were using. Yeah, because yes, that's true. Some technology you create them and the way people will get to use your product is really different.
Really different.
Yeah,
And I realized that, oh, I did not mean for it to be used that way, but it's used.
exactly.
There's this video of this car. I don't know, is it Benz or I don't remember this car. I feel so weird not remembering the name of the car,
Okay.
but it's kind of like bouncy.
Okay, that's Benz.
Benz, yes.
Yes.
And the it was created for very sandy areas or
Yeah, but now
some
it's
kind of very
cruise now. Even
sandy
GMC
terrain,
cruise.
and now people are just using it to like
GMC,
bougie,
yeah,
to just like
yeah,
raise their way through this house.
exactly.
So so there's just technology. Then the users actually make you woke. That's what I think. So
Wokeness.
yes, the wokeness is from the people. The
Wake up.
technology is just technology. It's just there. But then there's the human factor, which is the wokeness to just make you woke. So that is my my final my dread curtain. So we have come to the end of today's podcast. This is our very first podcast. Guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or repost, because this is the only way we make our money. I'm very broke and help. So, yes. You can also find this podcast on Spotify. It's going to be titled The Great Podcast, Woke Technology. So you can check it on Spotify and here on YouTube. And also, we'll be recording this every Sunday, so at least you get our podcast once a week. If you have topics you want us to talk about, you have people you want us to bring on, you have, views you want to share, kindly just send it over. We'll talk about your views, your comments, everything. Just send it over. We'll talk about it. We'll bring people on here to talk. So thank you very much for being here. Stay blessed, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time, right?
Yeah, next time.
See you guys.
Talk about more interesting discussions
Right.
on this platform. That kind of talk you really want to hear. That kind of viewpoint you really want to hear. So, take away all the things that you've learned. We are here to relearn, unlearn,
Yes,
and learn
relearn,
about
unlearn, rewire, wire.
Exactly. Rewoke.
So, yeah, rewoke.
if there is such a word.
No, there is no word.
All right.
So stay aware, guys.
Stay fun.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Au
Bye.
revoir.
Bye.
모든 것이 말라가네 yeah. We all try but we lose emotion 점점 밀어가며 익숙해져가